This is insane. A kid goes to a friend's house for dinner. They're sitting down. It's spaghetti night. Okay, we know the rules, everyone. We must say what we're thankful for. They're all sitting down, the food's in front of them. This kid assumes that they each say one thing and then move on to eat. But the mom then says this, before each and every bite. Wait, before each bite? Yeah, it builds gratitude. So the plates are steaming, nobody's eating yet, and it gets to the dad first. I'm thankful for my family. Then it moves to this kid's friend. I'm thankful for spaghetti. And then it gets to this kid. Go on. I'm thankful for math class. That's good. It keeps going, bite after bite after bite. By round 6, this kid is losing it. I'm thankful for forks and gravity and oxygen. Hey, don't get smart. Dinner takes 2 hours, and this kid decides to leave. And as he's walking out, he whispers to himself, I'm thankful I'm never coming back here again. Yeah, no kidding. They plotted this for weeks. For about 2 weeks, this small group of students would take the lunchroom food and shove it in their backpacks to save for later. You know, mashed potatoes, hot dogs, milk cartons, pizza, chicken tenders, you know. They would bring it home and put it in the fridge. They're stockpiling cafeteria food. Then, one night, they broke into the school. They snuck into the principal's office, and one by one, they swapped everything out on her desk. None. But they were swapping her stuff out with the cafeteria food that they had been saving. They took her stapler and replaced it with a scoop of mashed potatoes. Her landline phone they replaced with 5 hot dogs. They filled her coffee mug with shredded chicken, and they replaced all of her pens with straws. All the leftover food they put on her desk chair. The next morning, the principal stared at this all in disbelief. What in God's name happened in here? And it was as easy as checking the security cameras. Those kids were caught almost immediately, but still, that's actually kind of hilarious. This is messed up. So there was this kid named Owen, always polite, quiet, but he was always reminding the class of his peanut allergy. I have a peanut allergy. And the teacher backed him up every time. And guys, remember, no peanuts in class, please. Thank you. But one kid, Tyler, got sick of hearing it. I'm so sick of hearing this. And he swore Owen was faking this entire thing because he wanted attention. So on a random day, Tyler brought candy for everybody, and he made a big show of it. Don't worry guys, they're regular M&Ms. Totally safe, Owen, I promise. But they weren't. They were peanut M&Ms. He gave one to Owen, and he ate it. Wait a minute. Everybody was laughing, and Tyler was getting ready to prove that Owen was faking it this entire time, but that's not what happened. Nothing's gonna happen, guys. He's been faking this. Oh, Owen. He begins choking, wheezing, and then he falls out of his chair. The teacher called 911, and Owen was taken to the hospital. And Tyler got suspended for weeks. Yeah, that's messed up. It happened during lunch. A kid in a black hoodie walked to the center of the cafeteria. He unzips his giant duffel bag, pulls out a gallon of milk, and dumps it right there on the floor. Then he heads to a different part of the cafeteria, pulls out another gallon of milk and dumps that on the floor. He's just dumping milk all around the lunchroom. Pretty soon it's total chaos, and a kid slips and sprains his wrist. Then the janitor runs in and points at a kid. It was him, right there. What? He was pointing at Owen, this quiet kid that never did anything wrong. He just happened to be wearing a very similar black hoodie, but he was just sitting there eating his lunch. It wasn't him, but they pulled him out of the cafeteria. He went to the office, he had to call home. They told him he was facing a 10-day suspension and a possible disciplinary hearing in front of the school board. And other students tried to help. It wasn't him. Owen wouldn't do that. He was just eating his lunch. This is not fair. But the janitor said he was sure. Black hoodie, same build, it was him. I'm positive. It took 3 days for the school to finally pull the security footage. And it wasn't Owen. They saw the real kid do this and run out the side door. And in the footage, there was Owen, sitting there, eating his lunch, peacefully. And the school dropped everything. No hearing, no suspension, they apologized, but Owen never forgot what he went through. And he hates that school to this day. Yeah, I would too. So every day, during class, she made her students sit in a circle, and they had to confess something they felt guilty about. It was called the guilt circle. She said it helped build trust, but it felt more like public humiliation. Every morning, right after the bell rang, one by one, share something you regret, something you're hiding, a dark secret. And if you really couldn't think of anything, she would say, that's fine, but you're going twice tomorrow. It would be stuff like, I ate my sister's Halloween candy, I cheated on a vocab quiz, But after a while, that wasn't good enough for her. She wanted them to go deeper. I spread a horrible rumor about my friend. I took money from my mom's purse, and she loved it. Oh, why do you think you did that? Do you think she knows? No. Day after day, week after week, this is how things went down. Until one day a kid stood up and said, "You know what, Mrs. Keller? You should feel guilty. You make us say this stuff in front of you and all of our classmates, and then I bet you go laugh about it in the teacher's lounge." The whole room froze. She didn't say anything. And I guess that was all it took, because the next day, the guilt circle stopped. For real though, that is super messed up and completely unacceptable. It was supposed to be a normal middle school sleepover, but then things got crazy. It was 4 friends, they were all in 8th grade. They had the sleeping bags in the basement, Nerf guns, soda, the usual. They go upstairs, they're playing video games, but then one of the friends says this, "Yo, what's that behind the fence over there?" "Oh, that's my neighbor's hot tub. We should go in it." Huh. Wait a minute. They laughed it off at first, but 1:30 a.m. hits. The parents are asleep, and they went outside. "Are we really doing this? This is a bad idea, guys." "Shut your mouth, Ralphie." "Everyone chill out. We're going in." Next thing you know, all 4 of them are sitting in the neighbor's hot tub, snacking on Doritos, and someone's playing music from their phone. Okay, this is really nice. Pure relaxation, boys. Pure relaxation. All right, we should get out soon, guys. Shut the hell up. Well, that's when, all of a sudden, the backyard floodlights go on. Oh my god, run! Yeah, there's 4 kids in my hot tub right now. Get out of here! The next morning, everybody's in the kitchen having breakfast. Everyone's worried about last night. Well, the doorbell rings. Oh, I'll get that. Wait, no! Hi, Mr. Johnson. Hi, Carol. We should have a conversation. She found out everyone gets in big trouble, but that sleepover went down in history as one of the greatest of all time. She banned calculators, then this happened. This teacher was a strict math teacher, one of those no calculator types, which is lame in my opinion because screw math. But anyway, "Class, you will never need a calculator if you're actually smart." She said that at least once a week, always with a little smirk. Like she's trying to be inspirational, but she just comes across as condescending. One day, she's flying through problems on the board. She's fast, she's confident, she's feeling herself. Okay, 12 times 6, that gives us 64. The kid in the back, Brady, raises his hand and goes, "Miss, you mean 72, right?" "Excuse me? Yeah, you said 12 times 6 is 64. It's 72, miss." She looks at the board and she slowly erases it and changes it to 72. Awkward. Then Brady from the back goes, "Maybe you should use a calculator." "Yeah, miss. What now?" She's actually dumb. "Yeah. Use a calculator, idiot. You smell like my dad." It's the middle of summer. No breeze, just that sticky sidewalk melting heat. And then the ice cream truck song. Every kid in the neighborhood stops when they hear it. "Oh my god, it's here, guys, it's here!" Yes! But it wasn't the ice cream truck. It was just Tyler, 11 years old, Bluetooth speaker in one hand and a cooler on wheels in the other. He's playing the ice cream jingle off a YouTube video. It just started walking the block. Well, kids come running out with cash. "Wait, are you selling?" "Yep, got the stuff in my cooler. The prices are on the lid." He flips open the cooler. He's got everything. SpongeBob pops, those like bomb pops, the strawberry shortcake ones, all perfectly frozen, bought in bulk from Costco. This kid is killing it. And the thing is, he would undercut the prices of the actual ice cream truck by $1, so his stuff was cheaper. By week 2, people were texting him to have them come by their house or their birthday party. It was a full-blown business. The real ice cream truck, out of respect, stopped showing up to this neighborhood altogether. This kid turned a Bluetooth speaker and a cooler full of ice cream into a full-blown empire, and that summer he made over $500. You gotta respect the hustle. There was this kid in 8th grade, and to be clear, nobody liked him. Why? Well, because he was frickin' mean. He would steal people's food and say, "Mine, survival of the fittest." He barked at the PE teacher once. Ruff. And he had this really insane talent of making other people cry. Kid was a certified menace. But one day during lunch, he picks up one of those tiny square milk cartons, and he sees someone across the way and says this, "Hey nerd, catch this." He winds up, he launches the milk carton, and he misses. The milk carton missed the kid he was trying to throw it at, but it hit the security guard in the chest. "Oh, you, come here now." And let me say this, the security guard was a huge, buff dude. People respected him because they were terrified of him. "No. I'm so sorry." Well, this 8th grader is now starting to panic because he's terrified. "I said, come here now." And he starts walking over there, slowly, in shame and terror. And just like that, every single student in the cafeteria begins cheering. Yes. Justice is served. Who's the nerd now? Loser. Everyone was just so happy that this kid, who seemed to never get in trouble but was always so horrible to other people, was finally getting the karma he deserved. I need a new egg. Oh God, you can use mine. It's physics class. This kid named Frank has a presentation, and he needs an egg for some reason. Well, he brings one from home. Just one. Well, before class even starts, he sees a kid in the hallway that he doesn't like, and his genius self decided to throw his only egg at this kid. He makes me so mad. Ew, what the heck? So now class is about to start, and he's just like, oh God, no, I don't have an egg anymore. I'm gonna fail. I need to find an egg. That's when some random kid who was walking by in the hallway stops and says this to him. You can borrow my egg, huh? He laughed, thinking it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke. This kid pulls out a real egg, and it has a face drawn on it. This is my son, Leonardo. Be careful with him, please. I'm gonna meet you back here after class. He hands it over like it's a sacred little egg. Frank uses it for his presentation, and he passes. The egg doesn't break. But Frank was so relieved that this all went well, when he was getting up to leave the classroom, he accidentally knocked Leonardo on the ground, and Leonardo cracked and broke open. When he met the kid outside the classroom at the end, he just handed him bits of shells and yolk. Hey man, sorry, your egg broke. My bad, but thank you. Oh! Hey, Leonardo! My boy! It started with a rule. The dress code is to promote professionalism. No crop tops, no tank tops, no ripped jeans. Girls' pants can't be above their ankles. Some real crazy dress code stuff. Well, this girl had enough, and she wants to do something about it. So one day, she shows up to school in a full-body horse costume. Yes, I know it's a llama mask, but I don't have a horse mask. So bear with me. Mane, hooves, tail, covered head to toe. And technically, this horse costume followed every single rule. That's not professional. Show me where it says no horses. And they couldn't do anything, because there was no rule in the handbook that said no costumes or no horses. There was no skin showing, her ankles were covered by the horse costume. Like I said, she knew the handbook better than the teachers and the principal did. But the thing is, the teachers were obsessed with this. One teacher would bring her carrots every morning. Hey, horse girl, I got a carrot for you. That's hilarious. One teacher said, you're my hero. Even the lunch lady would start neighing whenever she saw her. She wore this horse costume every single day for 3 straight weeks. But then the school finally added a new rule. No costume wear. This class was visiting colleges. They were all on a bus to visit one of these local colleges. Well, this junior was sitting by his girlfriend. Now, these two had been dating forever. Everyone knew them as that couple. But halfway through the bus ride, Kevin, we gotta talk. She breaks up with him on the bus. I can't do this anymore. You're an embarrassment to me. I have bigger things I want to do with my life. And you're gonna hold me back. I'm done. We are done. Oof. And he's just taking it. He finally stops talking and he's just sitting there staring out the window. 5 minutes go by. Then he quietly stands up, lowers the window gap as far as it'll go, shimmies his way out, and jumps out of the bus while it's moving. The bus is going 35 miles per hour on the highway. Everyone's panicking. Stop the bus! Stop the bus! Oh my God, he jumped! What happened? Well, I broke up with him. He said he didn't want to be on this trip with me, and he jumped out the window. So, not my fault. Now, this kid was fine. When he jumped out, he landed on this big pile of grass on the side of the highway. Just some scrapes and bruises. But when he landed, he just stood up and just ran into the woods. Full sprint. Backpack on and everything. They had to call his parents. His parents came to the side of the road where the bus was at. Staff was sent into the woods to go find him, and they found him, sitting by a creek on a log, crying softly to himself. Hey buddy, you okay? I loved her so much. Leave me here. Leave me here. This kid started a war at the zoo. 5th grade field trip to the zoo. Everyone's hyped. The teacher's already stressed, They get to the primate exhibit. The absolute best exhibit in any frickin' zoo. Alright class, hands to yourselves please. Let's respect the facility and the gorillas, okay? There's this one kid. That kid. He picks up a stick and launches it into the gorilla exhibit. Well, the stick lands on the ground right next to a full-grown silverback gorilla. The gorilla turns, sees the kid, grabs the stick, and throws it back. Smack! The stick explodes across this kid's chin. He drops, screaming, blood's everywhere. Chaos. This class is freaking out, teachers are screaming, and then the rest of the gorillas show up, all gathered on the other side of the fence right next to this class. They just rolled in like backup, and they're all just smoking the ground, you know, they're all angry. And it's gotta be horrifying for these kids. They're yelling, they're pounding the glass. This is gonna kill me, they're gonna kill me. What is going on? Well, the pounding on the glass alerted the orangutans, who were on just the other side of this exhibit. And they roll in like backup as well. So now it's like a dozen silverback gorillas, a dozen orangutans, all just pounding the glass in the ground on the other side of this class on a field trip. Dear God. That's when the gorillas and the orangutans start pooping in their hand and chucking the poop at the glass. Back to the buses. Now. The zoo staff swarms in from all sides. They shut this entire thing down. The exhibit is closed for the rest of the day. 30 minutes later, the school's banned from the zoo for life. And the kid who got the stick thrown at him left in an ambulance. He had to get stitches. That is absolutely insane. If your phone goes off in class, you might get arrested. This school had a strict no phone policy. You couldn't even have your phone on you. Not in your pocket, not in your bag, nothing. But the real rule, if a phone rang, audibly buzzed, or dinged during class, the entire room had to stand up, hands on their head, and wait. So, you see, 50 years ago, they invented broccoli. Alright, stand up. They would then send in a school officer to search every single student. Pocket checks, bag checks, didn't matter. Everybody was getting searched. And if you didn't comply, or if they found your phone, incarceration may result. That's what the handbook said, meaning you might get arrested, which doesn't make sense. And I want to remind you guys, this is a real story. So one day in third period, somebody's phone rings loudly. Everybody up, hands in your heads. The officer comes in. Well, one kid isn't standing up. Stand up. Eat my shorts, idiot. Excuse me? I said eat my shorts, big man. That's it. Get up. And they arrested the kid. Yes, I know he was talking back to him, but still, I don't know where this school got off or what kind of law they were writing on, but this entire thing just doesn't seem okay. One day at school, two girls started throwing hands in the lunch line over a yogurt, one single cup of strawberry chobani. Lunch was already chaotic that day. They ran out of chicken sandwiches early and the drink cooler was broken, so everybody's tense. Then a senior cuts the line and grabs the last yogurt off the tray. Another girl behind her goes, "Yo, that's mine. You didn't pay for it yet." "Yeah, but I was next. You cut me." They go back and forth, then suddenly, boom. Tray gets smacked, yogurt hits the floor and explodes everywhere. And then, it begins. A full-blown fight cuts loose. Security's still halfway across the lunchroom trying to make their way. People are gathering, phones out recording this. But in the dead background, you can see Mrs. Jenkins, the school principal, standing there, arms crossed, definitely invested in this fight. Hey, cut it out. Kids are yelling, "Hey, somebody should stop them. Mrs. Jenkins, do something. I'm observing, okay? Security's coming, it's fine. Ladies, please." The girls get pulled apart. Nobody is seriously hurt. Just a busted lip and a ripped backpack. But the footage hit Snapchat that afternoon with the caption, "Mrs. Jenkins ringside." Nobody got suspended, just a couple detentions were handed out. For the rest of the year, whenever kids saw Mrs. Jenkins in the cafeteria, they would chuckle to themselves. Look at Mrs. Jenkins. She's only here because she wants to see round 2. Can't blame her. Can't blame her. Why is there a piñata in the cafeteria? It's her birthday! So this girl, Olivia, she had a December birthday, and she hated how nobody celebrated it because it was so close to Christmas. There was never any cupcakes, no parties, and she was kind of tired of it. So for weeks leading up to her birthday one year, she saved up some money. She buys 4 giant piñatas, and she stuffed them herself. Dollar bills, candy, snacks, tons of stuff. Her plan was this: 1 piñata in the lunchroom, 1 in the hallway, 1 in the gym, and 1 in her math class. She even brought wooden bats to school to use for these as well. The first one at lunch, she pulls the rope and the piñata rises. She yells, and go! Kids abandon their trays and they rush towards this piñata, fighting over the bat to beat this thing. Candy explodes all over the floor, dollar bills are floating around. It was awesome, people are going crazy. One teacher tries to stop it. "Hey, put that bat down!" One kid says, "It's a cultural celebration!" And the teacher backs off. He's like, "Alright, fine." Third period. In the math classroom, kids beat the crap out of it. Taffy rains down like confetti, and 2 students start fighting over the last Kit Kat bar. Security shows up. "Yeah, we've got piñatas on multiple floors. I repeat, there are multiple piñatas." Olivia gets called to the office. She's carrying a broken bat that's covered in Smarties dust. The principal says, "You brought 4 piñatas to school today." "Yeah, it's my birthday." "Well, happy birthday. You're suspended." She gets a 1-day suspension. But for the rest of that year, all people could ever talk about was that crazy day with the 4 piñatas, and that sounds absolutely legendary. Where does he get all his money? Oh, he runs a school storage empire. Nice. So this kid finds an extra locker. No name on it, no combination, just unlocked, and he gets an idea. He cleans it out, puts his own lock on it, and he starts a business. $3 a day for private storage. He spreads the word, people start taking him up on this. The first week he makes $15, just from kids storing some random stuff, like a lunch or a hoodie, but he takes that $15 and he flips it. He starts renting lockers from other students. He found kids that never use theirs, and he gives them money. He rents it out from them. And now he's running his storage business out of their lockers as well. It's simple. He pays a small little fee, he charges people for storage, and he keeps the profit. At his peak, he had 3 different lockers in 3 different hallways. Different clients, different time slots. People would store their phones before gym, put their hoodies in there when they were too hot. There was no drama, no theft. Everybody respected the system. He kept a spiral notebook to track who had what in what locker and when. He even offered weekly deals. $10 for 5 days guaranteed. One kid used that to store a bunch of snacks for himself to have throughout the week. But then, one day, 3 kids are hovering by locker 223. A teacher walks by, sees one of them pull out a whole bag of candy and a phone charger. "Whose locker is this?" Nobody answers. The admin gets involved. They pop the lock. Inside are 3 phones, a hoodie, a bag of Takis, and a pair of Crocs. They start asking around, and eventually his name got brought up and he was called to the office. "Were you charging students to use lockers?" "No, I was offering a service, but what would you know about that?" Locker empire shut down. But in 2 weeks, he made over $100. No losses, no complaints. The only reason it ended was because it got too popular. And that's a good thing. You gotta respect the hustle. Why is the principal sprinting down the hall? He's here! Because the mayor's here. So the mayor was coming to visit this school. Everybody's acting that the Queen of England's gonna show up. And the week before, there was an actual assembly. The principal gets on the stage and he goes, "Please do not pull the fire alarm during the mayor's visit unless there's an actual fire, okay?" Everyone just kind of looks around and is like, why would he say that? Was somebody planning to? Thing is, there hasn't been a single fire drill in months, let alone somebody actually pulling it. No one had even thought about it. Of course, until now. Day of the visit, school is spotless. The staff is in full PR mode, and the mayor's shaking hands. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm the mayor. Thanks for having me, I'm the mayor. And then it goes off. The mayor's mid-photo like, "Oh, what? Teachers are sprinting, the principal's yelling, no. And the best part's nobody's panicking. The students aren't panicking at all. They calmly line up and walk out. They're like, of course this would happen today, of course. Eventually they found the kid who did this. All he says is, "They made such a big deal about it, I had to do it. I just had to do it." And that's how the mayor's visit became a school-wide evacuation. So one of my subscribers sent this story in, and it's genius how simple it is. This kid started a snack business at his school. He posted the menu in his class group chat. People would place orders in advance, and he had a drop spot and everything. First day, chaos. Everyone showed up, they cleared him out, business was booming. But here's the thing, at his school, snacks weren't allowed, like at all. So when students started eating in their classes, the teachers kind of snapped. Where's all this food coming from? And well, one kid panicked and said, "So there's this guy." Bingo snitched, the whole thing traced back to him. Kids who were eating snacks in class were getting detentions, and he was shut down completely. Before it got shut down, he made $30 profit on day 1. $30 profit on the first day. That's insane. And he tells me he's not done. He said he's gonna take the risk and relaunch. And see, this is the type of mindset that we need. Because the reality of it, schools teach us to be good workers, to stay quietly at a job for the rest of our lives, and do what the man says. But we don't gotta do that. This kid has entrepreneurship. He's got hustle, baby. He's a subscriber with a vision, and you know what I always say, you gotta respect the hustle. What are you dipping your fries in? Applesauce? Ugh. So one day, this cafeteria lady says, "No more salt or pepper," and just straight up takes all the packets of salt and pepper off the cart. Gone. People are like, "Wait, what? Why?" And she says this, "It's part of the new health initiative. We're cutting back on sodium." But here's the thing, they did this, but they're still selling Mountain Dew in the vending machine. 52 grams of sugar, fully stocked, vending machine right across from the lunch line. Doesn't make any sense. So now lunch is like unseasoned chicken sandwich, wet green beans, and a bright green bottle of rocket fuel. One kid goes, "We can't have salt, but I can buy a code red before math class? Make it make sense." fries. Another kid is literally dipping his fries in applesauce. I'm doing what I can, man, just trying to survive out here. Ugh. Now this opened up a black market opportunity. Kids started smuggling salt and pepper packets into the lunchroom to sell them. But the lunch aides and the teachers were on it, and everyone who was caught selling this stuff or using it got detentions. It was a battle like this for a while, and guess what? The school never brought salt and pepper packets back. But the Mountain Dew vending machine, it's still glowing right there in the cafeteria. You are a sad excuse for a student. Can you please leave him alone? No. This happened in a 7th grade social studies class. You see, this teacher, she had a reputation. She didn't like to grade papers, so at the start of every class, students had to grade each other's papers for her, and it always had to be done in red pen. Well, one day this kid, quiet, he's kind of awkward, he has trouble focusing, probably like me, he's probably got ADHD. He asks the person next to him, hey, can I borrow a red pen? Before he even gets an answer, the teacher snaps loudly. Don't you dare give him a pen! The whole class just stares. And she just starts going off on him. You are a sad excuse of a student, too lazy to even remember your own pen? You will go nowhere in life if you can't remember basic supplies. You are an absolute disgrace. It doesn't stop, she keeps going 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. Pathetic. Worthless. Embarrassment. Other students are getting incredibly uncomfortable. Please leave him alone. Okay, miss, he gets it. Just please stop. But she doesn't. She continues to tear him down in front of everybody. And when it's over, he just sits there, red in the face, tears building in his eyes. Doesn't say a word for the rest of class. Multiple students reported this, parents called the school, but nothing happened. There were no consequences. No apology either. She kept teaching, and he just kept to himself. That is completely messed up. What's going on back there? Call a priest! This happened in elementary school. There were 2 sisters that lived at the top of a very steep hill. And I mean super steep, winding hill. Them at the top. And every morning, the school bus had to climb all the way to the top just to get them. But one morning, one of the sisters gets on looking pale. She sits in the back, she's quiet, the vibes are not good. Well, halfway down the steep hill, she throws up. Hard, loud, full forced. Right into the aisle. Her sister sees it and immediately throws up as well. A couple of kids nearby start gagging and then they throw up. And most of them are throwing up in the aisle. And remember, this is going downhill. So as they're puking, this river of vomit is just flowing to the front of the bus. And as the river passes each row, those people begin to throw up. Like a chain reaction. Every seat, somebody's adding to the stream. Like it's a contagious situation. Well, the river of vomit reaches the front. That's when the driver, Miss Jeannie, finally notices. She slams on the brake, stands up, turns around and says, "What is going on back here?" Then she sees it and immediately wishes she hadn't. She radios the school. Oh my god, it smells. We're gonna need all the towels you have and maybe call a priest. When the bus finally pulls up to the school, the principal and the nurse are waiting. Jeannie opens the door to the bus and the puke starts to pour out of it. That's how much was in there. Eventually, everybody gets off the bus, but the smell follows them into the school. And I kid you not, kids were throwing up in other classrooms just from the scent. And that day went down in history. What a frickin' nightmare. Can I go to the bathroom? You know the rules. This teacher had the worst bathroom policy ever. You weren't allowed to just ask. If you had to go, you had to stand up, walk to the front of the room, and explain why you deserved to go to the bathroom. Those were her words, deserved. She said it was about building confidence and reclaiming classroom trust. Mostly, she just didn't believe students were telling the truth. I've seen too many kids abuse the bathroom. If you really have to go, prove it. And so one day, this kid raises his hand. Usually, he avoids asking this teacher to use the bathroom because he just doesn't want to deal with all this. And during this class, he held it in as long as he could, but he really had to frickin' go. So he asks, Miss, can I go to the bathroom, please? You're gonna have to convince me. I'm not playing with you right now, miss. Can I please just go to the bathroom? I have to go so bad. You know the rules. Get up here and explain why you should go to the bathroom. Okay, fine. Can I do a visual demonstration? Whatever it takes. And yeah, by visual demonstration, that's exactly what he meant. This is your fault. He goes in his pants right then and right there. And the teacher, get this, she gets angry and sends him to the office. Go to the office now. He goes to the office and explains to the principal what had happened, and the principal did not take this lightly. Instead of seeing a kid disobeying a teacher's rule, he sees a teacher refusing to let students use the bathroom when they have to. After that day, in that class, if you had to use the bathroom, you were just allowed to go. And the principal gave that teacher her last warning. Yeah, she sounds horrible. You're gonna regret this. Get out of my class. So this kid sprains his leg during soccer practice. The doctor gives him crutches, a note, clear instructions, but his teacher, she never liked him. She thinks he's dramatic, thinks he's lazy. He walks into class on crutches, and she just stares at him. You don't need those, stop milking it. He tries to explain, but she just cuts him off. If you want attention, do it on your own time. Give me those. She takes his crutches and locks them into a cabinet. He stares at her, calm, and just says, you're gonna regret this. And for the rest of the day, he walks all day on his hurt leg. He doesn't ask for help, he's not complaining. He's limping, he winces, but he keeps moving. Well, that night, his leg is on fire. The next morning, he's back at the doctor. It's worse now. He has a hairline fracture because he was walking on it so much because the teacher took his crutches. Oh, it's about to get bad for this teacher. The next morning, he walks into class again with crutches, a medical boot now, and another doctor's note. He doesn't sit. He doesn't yell. Just stands in front of the whole class and says, so I watched the rest of the day like you told me to? Well, turns out that re-fractured my injury. I'll be on crutches another 6 weeks now, so thank you for that. The whole class is silent. She tries to speak, but the door opens and the principal walks in. Hi, Miss Harding. I need to speak with you. Please bring your things. She freezes. Then she grabs her stuff and heads towards the hallway. And she walks out. She doesn't come back the next day. Or the day after that. She was fired. Karma's a Participation is 40% of your grade. This teacher had one rule. If you didn't speak out loud during class, in every class, you would lose points. Didn't matter if you turned in everything. Didn't matter if you tried. If you didn't raise your hand and talk, she would dock you. And one kid, let's call him Aaron, he was trying. He had anxiety. He hated talking in class, but he tried. Miss, I know I don't talk much, but I listen and I do the work and I work hard. Well, that's not how life works, Aaron. If you want a grade, you gotta speak up. Aaron didn't like this, so he started tracking everything. Every time he raised his hand, he wrote it down. Every time he raised his hand and got skipped, he wrote that down. Every time the same 3 loud kids dominate every conversation, he wrote that down as well. Everything was getting documented by Aaron. Well, grades are updated, and his is a C. The reason? Non-participation. The next day, he stays after class. Hey, I saw my grade. You need to speak more, Aaron, I told you. Well, you need to stop ignoring me, or fix your rule, because look at this. He drops a folder on her desk. Pages, timestamps, dates, secret selfies of him actually raising his hand. You say it's about participation, but I've been trying. I've been participating. This system doesn't make any sense. There are days where you just don't call on me. You can go. And he leaves. He thought that he got nowhere with that. But the next week, his grade was silently changed to an A. I think he actually got to that teacher. Because honestly, when I was in school, I hated that type of rule as well. People learn differently, and people participate differently. You gotta respect all of it.
ওগো কতদিন ধরে তোমার লগে আমি কথা কইতাছি মাগার
কি করো নাইকা হ্যাঁ আর থেকে অনেক পর থেকে কি করতাছো ফোনের ভিতরে হামদাই রইছো
আব্বা তো মা গো মা আব্বা তো দেখি হেভি পাঙ্খ
নিশ্চয়ই কোনো ভেজাল আছে ওই দেখি কার লগে ফিলিং মারতে
কি আবার সকাল সকাল ঘুম ভালো হইছে তোমার আব্বার লগে দেখা কইরা এলাম হাইটটা গেছিলাম এই ঘটনা
তুমি রাগ করো না
রাগ তো তুমি করবা খাড়া খাড়া চা দাও
আমি তো ভাবছি ডাকাত পড়ছে নি
এই শাহজাহানগর বাড়িতে ডাকাত আইব এমন কোন মায়ালাল পয়দা হইছে নি তোমার বিছানা আমি ভিজায়া দিছি গা
এটা তুমি কি করছো
কি করছি ঘুমাইবা না
তোমার পূর্বপুরুষের মাথায় কি সমস্যা ছিল আব্বা
আবার নাটকের পর কয় কি শুনছো ওই বেটা
আব্বা জান আপনার পোলার এখন জিগান তো রুটি গরম না ঠান্ডা
বাপ রে বাপ শুনছো নি একেবারে ডর দেয় তো বলে কুচি কুচি করে কাটতো হইছে আপনার ডর আপনার পকেটে থুয়া দেন ঠান্ডাটা আমার কত উচ্চা দেখতে হইব না
দেখতেছি তো উঁচা ভি আর লম্বা ভি কুচি কুচি করে না কাইটা ফেলাইছি আব্বা আমার তো মনে করে যখন ডর দেখাইতে আমি দেখেন আপনি কি করি ওরে আইলাম না এখন দেন না আসমানে ঠাড়াল্লা আর একেবারে কাঁপায়া দিমু
আচ্ছা আপনার
পাইবেন এর লাগা চুপ আছিলাম, কিন্তু অহনা চুপ থাকান যাইব না।
কিরে সাজান,
আমরা মানি না, আমগো খানদানে আমরা এক গ্লাস পানি পর্যন্ত ডাইলা না খাই।
আমাগো খানদানে আছে।
এই ভাবি একটা ফালতু খানদান থেকে আইছে, এইসব খানদানের আমি ধারদারি না।
চলো না আমরা বাড়িতে ফিরে যাই।
তুমি কি পাগল হয়ে গেছো নি? এটাই আমার বাড়ি এখনতে।
চৌধুরী সাহেবের সাথে আমি কি কথা কইছি? তুমি কোনো কথাই কই নাই কা? সাজান তোমারে কইলো এত
দিচ্ছেন? হ্যাঁ দিচ্ছেন না? এলা বাইরন, আমার বাড়িতে বাইরন।
একবারে হাসা কইছেন আব্বাজান। আপনার পোলার এই বাড়ি পোলা কোনো বিতলামি করলে আমি তোরা ঘাড়াই, কিন্তু ভাবলাম আপনাকে একমাত্র পোলা ঘাড়াইলে আবার দিলে চোট পাই।
দিতাছো তুমি?
শোনো, তোমাগো খানদানে যেমন কিছু নিয়ম আছে আমাগো খানদানেও আছে।
এইসব ফাত্তার নিয়ম কেউ যেন জানবার না পারে, মনে থাকবো তো? তোর যে নতুন ভাবি
যা মন চায় তাই করো, এই ফোন আমি দিব না। কার লগে কথা কইতাছো? হ্যাঁ
আমার ফোন দাও।
আরে বাপরে বাপ, কইতেছো কি তুমি? আমার খানদানি পোশাক আমি খুলে ফেলামু, তুমি কি আমার অর্ডার করতেছো?
শিউলিমালা যা কয় তাই অর্ডার।
এসে আমি দেইকা লমু কিন্তু কয়ে দিলাম।
আম্মা
ওই কি ভাবতেছো? ভাবাভাবি বাদ দাও কইলাম। অহনি পোশাক চেঞ্জ করে আসো, নাহলে তোমার সারা রাত গা চুলকাইবে। আমি শাহজাহানের আব্বা আম্মা দিলে চোট পচাইছি, এর প্রতিশোধ নিতে গিয়ে শাহজাহান তোমাকে মধ্যে।
বইয়ের হাতে মার খাওয়া চলে, তাই কিছু কই নাই কা।
আমাগো খানদানে জামাই মারনের নিয়ম নাই কা।
তুই আমার এখান থেকে যাবি না মানে কি? অক্ষণ তুই বাইরবি।
আব্বা
তুমি কিন্তু আমার একটা ভিডিও কলও করো না। সোনিয়া, অ্যাঞ্জেল সোনিয়া।
তুমি কি শুরু করছো?
আরে আমি করলামটা কি? আমি যেখানে বয়ে আছি।
এই আমার ফোন দাও, দাও কইতাছি।
ছাড়ুম না।
কি দাও? ছাড়ো কইতাছি, আমার ফোন দিব না আমি।
এইটা আমগো খানদানি রীতি, তুই বুঝছ না?
আব্বা গতকালকে রাত্রে বেলা এমন সেটিং দিছি।
আব্বা ফোন দিয়ে কি করেন আপনি?
এই কথা কই, গান শুনি, এই আর কি।
বাস এই দুইটা কামের জন্য।
হায় হায়, করছে কি আমার খানদানির ইজ্জতের ফালুদা খেয়ালাইছে।
তোবা তোবা, কস কি? এত বড় বদ জামাই।
হারামজাদায় আমার মা।
শাহজাহান,
শাহজাহানের সাজেদা বাগান হুগে গেছে গা।
শাহজাহান শুনো না।
কও।
বুঝার পারলাম না, বাড়ি মারলা আমারে, কান্দলা আমি কাঁদুম, তুমি কাঁদতাছো কেলা?
তারপর আর কি? সারা রাত কই আসলো, কি করছে আমি জানি না। আমার লাগে কেউ
আপনি তো আপনার শ্বশুর বাড়িতে গিয়া ঠিকই হ্যাঁ নিয়ম কানুন অক্ষরে অক্ষরে পালন করছেন, আর আমারতে আয়া মিছা গপ।
তুমি কি কইবার লাগছো এগুলা? তোমার কি মাথা আউট হয়ে গেছে নি? এত বড় স্পর্ধা আমার আদেশ। আর আমি যে তোর রুমে আইছি, রাইতে ঘুমাইছি,